I actually always feel like I feel weird recording from my screen, my email. So today I'm recording from here. Anyhow, let's go ahead and start new notes. Go into your classroom folder, which I'm already in, by the way. And then from my classroom folder, I would obviously first go into my first period folder. And then from there, what I'm gonna do is find my template, right? The Cornell Note template. Just go in there. And then we're going to obviously do the same thing we do every single day, which is make a copy. So we have to change the title. And then I want you to put quadratic formula. Because that's what we're going to be doing today. And then as usual, just wait. And then when this folder thing comes up, click on it. Then you gotta make sure that it's in the correct place. So put it in classroom, click on the little triangle, and then put it in period 1. Okay. I could also go ahead and, put it into Math 2 period 4 or 5. So depending on whatever class you are in, and click on move. And so now let's go ahead and fill it up. Okay. The date is November 4th, but obviously depending on what day it is, you will put today's date. Topic is quadratic formula. And this is class period XX because we talked about this before. People complain. How do you solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula? And you would really love today's lesson because you can basically solve any quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. So then the first thing you gotta do is find out what the quadratic formula is, right? Okay, so I don't know if I ever told you to do this, but what you're gonna do is click on add-ons and see, in my case, I already have GMath, but for you, you probably won't have it. So you're going to click on get add-ons. And then on get add-ons, you're going to go ahead and get GMath, okay? So I don't think you could, yeah, it's right here, GMath, or you can just type it over here, GMath, and then obviously this will pop up. And then you're just going to go ahead and click on it, and so you'll be able to add it. And when you do that, pretty soon when you click on add-ons, you'll have GMath, and when you put your cursor over here, it would say you can select one, create math expressions. And then what happens is my screen pops up on the right hand side. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create an equation. But I think if you look down here, I think they have the quadratic formula, don't they? Let's see. Yeah, so there you go. I just clicked on it, right? And then what happened on top? My quadratic equation is right here. I know it looks crazy over here, but really what it is typing is this right here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to click on insert, okay? So click on insert right now. Okay, so then what happens? Bam! It shows up right here. Okay, so that is pretty much your quadratic formula. We use it so often that it's actually just preset for you right here. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I click on enter, and then just write, enter, and then write over here, quadratic formula, okay? And that's pretty much what it is. Okay, so there you go. I wish that you would memorize it, and I also hope that you know how to read this in English, so I'm going to actually type it out for you, okay? How to read it. X equals, and I'm gonna pause because it's a waste of time. Okay, so there you go. I actually wrote it out for you so you can actually read the equation. So you read it like this. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Wow, did Miss Choi just sing to this? Yes, I did, because I do this every year. In order for you to actually memorize this formula, you gotta sing it. So let's try this again. This is to the tune of, oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of this song. But anyway, let's do it anyways, okay? So there you go. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I know you don't want to sing it, and that's okay. I'm still gonna make you do it in class. Because I love to torture you. But anyhow, let's see if you guys understand what the A's, the B's, and the C's are. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you an example, a problem. Okay, so there you go. Here is your first question of the day. It says solve f of x is equal to 3x squared minus 14x minus 5. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is there's many different ways, right? So what's the first thing? When we have to solve for something, it's the same as finding the x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, what do? We had to say that the y is equal to 0. So pretty much you already know that you have to say this is equal to 0, right? And then you have to actually solve the 3x squared minus 14x minus 5. And you know what? You can actually factor this. And you know how to use the big X method. So I'm not going to go over that right now because in Google Drive it's very difficult to actually show you how to do that. Let me just go ahead and give you the answer, the factored form. So now we already know, okay, what our answer is, right? 3x plus 1 has to equal 0, or x minus 5 has to equal 0, right? And so then we already talked about how we gotta subtract 1 from both sides, right? Oops. Of course, I do this all the time. Subtract 1 from both sides, and then over here we're gonna add 5 to both sides. And you know, this is nothing new because we already did this in class, okay? And then of course. And so then, which gives us 3x. Uh-oh, let me pause for a little bit and just finish typing this out. Okay, so what I just did right now is I actually just paused the video and I finished typing everything up, the stuff that we already know how to do. We first factored this quadratic equation like so, using the big X method and the fraction bar. And then we said that they are equal to 0. So subtract 1 from both sides. So we get 3x is equal to negative 1. Divide both sides by 3. So x is equal to negative 1 over 3. And then on this side, x minus 5 is equal to 0. So add 5 to both sides. So x is now equal to 5. So here are our two answers. But what if you don't get a very nice and neat answer like this every single time, right? And that's why we have the quadratic formula, because the quadratic formula can give you answers at every single time. It's just that your answer is not clean like this. It's gonna have square roots on it. Okay, but just to demonstrate to you that you will get the same result whether you use factoring or the quadratic formula, I'm gonna go ahead and use the same equation and just have you use the quadratic formula to solve it. This is exactly what I'm doing to you these days, right? I'm just showing you one problem and showing you multiple methods to solve this. And so let's go. Same exact question, but we're gonna have to now find our A, B, and C. So in case you forgot what A, B, and C, this right here is A. And this right here, okay, the negative 14 is B. And this right here, the negative 5 is C. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell. This is A, this is B, uh-oh, and then this is C. And we already talked about this in class, the A, B, and C. The A is the number next to the x squared, B is the number next to the x, C is the number all by itself. So then you might get upset right now, Miss Choi, how am I supposed to circle these things and put A, B, and C? Well, you can't. That's the whole point, okay? I'm just trying to show you, okay? And so what you're gonna do right now is just go ahead and identify that A is equal to 3, and then, oh, I have to say, put a star right here, and let's say use quadratic formula to solve the same question. So if you notice, in the beginning we used the factoring method, and now we're just going to use the quadratic formula. So A, we just talked about this, is 3, and B is negative 14, and C is negative 5, right? Okay, so now we're going to use this information, and remember the song? X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Yeah. Okay, so then we're going to just plug it in there. Okay, so let me see. How can I actually do that? I think we have to go into add-ons again, GMath, create math expressions, and then on the side it will pop up. Just wait a little bit, and then we have to go scroll all the way down because it was right here. Yes, it was. There you go. And then we go all the way back up again, except what's all this stuff? The stuff that was already here before we plugged that in. Let's go ahead and erase those, okay? And so now, do we just have the equation? Nope. So I did it wrong. I'm gonna go back down and click on it again, okay? And this time, yeah, it came out right, okay? So now I have to just plug in all the correct numbers, and so it looks kind of crazy here. So maybe I should edit from doc. So I just clicked on edit from doc. Okay. So never mind. Let me just go ahead and fix this. X equals negative b. So instead of b, I'm going to put negative 14, right? Okay. And then plus or minus the square root of b. And b over here was what again? Negative 14. B squared minus 4. Instead of a, I'm going to plug in 3 in parentheses, that is. And then instead of c, I'm going to plug in negative 5. Okay, and that's all over 2a. And obviously instead of a, I'm going to plug in 3. Okay, so yay, it's coming out correct. So I'm going to click on insert. And bam, it showed up. Okay. Only problem is I didn't want it up here. I'm just going to go ahead and click on enter. So it goes down there. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go ahead and just try and simplify, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up here, okay? And then I'm going to do the easy stuff, like at the front and at the bottom, okay? And then I'll do the inside stuff later on, okay? So let me see. Now I got to clear this again. This is difficult for me. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this again. Now I'm going to try and fix it. So you see the 2 negatives over here? That makes a positive. So can I fix from here? Nope. So I'm going to change the negative b over here into a positive 14. There you go. And then I'm going to, I said I'm going to go ahead and simplify down here. 2 times 3. So instead of 2a, I'm going to put 2 times 3 is 6. So there you go. It came out right. I can see over here, right? But over here, the whole latex thing is very complicated. Yes, I do understand, but we can still work this out, okay? And then let's see what we can do over here. The negative 14 squared, well, I think I know what that is. Isn't that 196? Hold on. Yep, it is 196, so I need to put negative 14 squared as, okay, so that would be b squared. As 196, and then the minus 4 times 3 times negative 5, that's, let's see, 4 times 5 is 20, 20 times 3 is 60, so that's positive 60. Okay, so did it come out right? Yeah. So that is my next step. Okay, so there you go. All right, and then I know you guys are complaining right now. I could totally hear it even though I'm recording this from home. But don't complain. Now the only thing that we have to do is what? Combine these two, right? 196 plus 60. And so let's see if I can this time try and plug it in on my own. X equals, and then I need to have one of those fraction thingies. Okay. And then on top, instead of A, I guess I'm going to have 14. You know what? This is going to be more complicated. I'm just going to go ahead and use this again. So use this formula, okay? But on top, instead of negative B, I'm going to put 14. And then inside the square root, I'm just going to go ahead and put 196 plus 60 is 256. I'm going to change this to 256, right? And then the 2a was obviously over 6. Okay. So that is our next step, as you can see. And then our final step is going to be combining these two. So what is the square root of 256? Well, I'm going to go ahead and get the help of a calculator, even though I shouldn't really. What is the square root of 256? Wow, it tells me right away that it's actually 16, right? So let's go back. I'm going to go back down here, get that. And then, so instead of negative b, I still have 14. And then instead of all of that stuff, instead of the square root, I'm going to have, let's get off the whole square root thing. And then, do I need the plus minus? Yeah. And then that was 16 right there, right? And then the 2a was 6. Okay. So it's starting to take form. Okay. So that was supposed to be our next step. Okay. And then finally, we're just going to go ahead and simplify that. 14 plus 16 is, I'm just going to go ahead and use this instead of the complicated GMAT stuff over here. So x equals 30. Did that go through? Okay. 30 divided over 6. Okay. Or now I'm going to do the minus part. What I did was 14 plus 16. That's how I got 30 over 6. And then if you subtract 14 minus 16 is what? Negative 2 over 6. Okay. In other words, what's 30 divided by 6 anyway? So x equals 5 or x equals negative 1 over 3. So then you can see that our answer, okay, ends up being the same as this over here. So then you're thinking, Miss Choi, you are ridiculous. Why would we even go ahead and use the quadratic formula when it's just way more steps and way more complicated than factoring? Well, because let me tell you, a lot of the questions that you're going to see are not going to be so clear cut like this, okay? You're going to actually have to leave your answers as square roots. So I'm going to stop right here because what I want to do is I want to give you a problem that actually can only be solved using the quadratic formula. So you know why this is so important. But before I leave you, I want you to sing the song for me one more time, okay? Ready? Go. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Great. So now I'm just going to give you a question. Actually, I'm going to give you like 3 questions so you can actually work on them in class. And that's it for today. All right? So thank you. Hold on. Let me give you your 3 questions. No, my bad. Let me give you 5, okay? And then we'll leave you with that. Okay, so I'm only giving you 3 additional questions for you to solve. I want you to give me the answer and keep singing. I want the formula, the quadratic formula song to be stuck in your head, okay? So let's go. And after this, I hope you can solve, now you know that you can solve any quadratic formulas. I mean, any quadratic equations, okay? All right, thank you for an awesome day. Goodbye.